As far as your first question, how old do you have to be a voice actor? It doesn't matter. As long as you're able to speak, they will take you. So you can start at age 3, you can start at age 99, it does not matter, okay? Here's the thing though, if you are under 18, for professional projects, oftentimes you will have to have someone else signing your contracts and NDAs and stuff with you, so a parent or guardian. Also, many indie projects will just be 18 plus if there's any sort of questionable material, because they do not want to deal with any legal ramifications in hiring people who are under the age of 18. Sometimes the content is a little too mature. So, sometimes the indie developers will say this is only for 18 plus. I will also say that as far as voice acting is concerned, if you don't have an income source, it can be kind of difficult. And so for kids, purchasing a microphone and getting a booth together and stuff like that, a lot of times you'll have to have supportive parents who can help you invest in those things at a young age, unless you are making money already, because it can be quite expensive. And that leads me into your second portion of, is this a hard thing to do? That's subjective. It depends on your definition of hard. It can be very hard financially for people who don't have a lot of money to invest in this. Again, you got to get a booth, you got to get a microphone, you have to take classes and workshops and things like that. And so it can be hard financially. As far as, is it hard on you mentally? Absolutely. Imposter syndrome is a really big thing as a voice actor. We face a lot of rejection / not hearing back anything at all. An average booking rate is about 1 in every 100 auditions that you do. So it's a lot of just essentially kind of shouting out into the void and oftentimes not hearing anything back, which is pretty crazy. But that's the reality of it. It's a lot of just silence, if that makes sense, even in an industry where we talk a lot. So if you are not somebody who fares well with rejection, yes, it can be an incredibly difficult thing to deal with. As far as hard work, that also depends. Things like video games are hard because sometimes you're screaming and straining and doing a lot of hard work there. Sometimes it's hard if you're doing stuff like audiobooks and you just have to be able to be in the booth for really long periods of time and recording for long periods of time. That can be especially hard in the summertime when these booths turn into a hot box. So that can be some hard work. But as far as in the grand scheme of things, is it hard? Construction work is hard work, I'm just trying to think of things that I consider hard jobs. Like being a window washer for me would be a really hard job, I am not super scared of heights, but that's just not something that I would want to do. People who fish in Alaska and all these things, there are plenty of jobs that are hard labor. This is not labor. It is just a labor of love. And you have to have thick skin in a very different way, if that makes sense. I think, of course, we know that, but that's the creative industries in general, is just building up a thick skin, being comfortable with rejection, being comfortable with the word no, being comfortable with dead silence, being comfortable being on your own. This can often be a very lonely industry, and it will take a long time. You're not going to get into it right away. This job is very, very much a marathon. It is not a sprint. Again, I've been at it for 5 years and I'm doing well, all things considering, but at the same time, it's not again, that I have all these major roles on all these things and I'm most voice actors are not household names, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not any sort of household name for a lot of people. And so it's one of those things. It can be very hard. But it's just about your fortitude, your attitude toward it, and your desire to be a storyteller, your desire to tell these stories in a way that will reach and resonate with other people. So yeah, that's my 2 answers to this question. I do have, if you want to dig through this playlist a little bit, I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but I do have some resources for young people who are getting started and telling you about the things that you should learn. But yeah, you can absolutely get started really at any point in your life. All right, hope it helps.